Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about merging and merge conflicts and when the race is on. Let's get into it. Now, I've been a little bit serious, maybe too serious in my, virtually in a lot of videos. There's not enough fun and enjoyment in these videos. So this time we're going to make an exception to the rule and I am going to share something that I find hilarious and that you'll just have to bear with me, and maybe you don't find it hilarious at all, but I get this enjoyment from this. So we're working on a story, right? And for those of you who've been working for a little while, you probably know that what I say when I say that we use story branches as for in our version control system, which is Git, of course. And for the juniors out there, learn Git. If you don't know Git, you are not going to be a cool developer. You're not actually ever going to be a developer if you don't learn Git, pretty sure. Well, you could learn Mercurial as well, but that's not for the cool developers. Cool developers use Git. Remember that. You heard it here first. Anywho, so we have our story branch and we start working, right? We declare a model with the common dependencies that we all need to work on each feature within the story branch, right? And so we start working. And now, you may know what I'm gonna say, because now, this is unspoken in every software team. Are you ready? Now the race has started, because when you, as a team of several people, in this case it's 3 people, when you all start touching basically the exact same code area as everybody else, that means that whoever gets done first gets to merge back to the story branch first. And why is that important? All the juniors are looking like, oh, why is that important? Because, my friend, the way that it works is that if I put in things in my branch that are not in your branch, and I merge that to our common branch, that means that if you then try to merge things in that are in conflict with the things that I made, you have to deal with the shit. You have to deal with the merge conflict. Oh, you have to deal with the merge. And if you're really unlucky, I have been a really bad teammate and done like one big, massive, super commit or something like a really big feature. This is the one time I really wish that I could be that 10x programmer, so I could write 10 times the amount of code so that you have to deal with and still ship it, of course, to get that in the branch before you get there, so I can merge before you, and you have to sit there and walk through the merge conflict. Now, you may not think that this is a problem, but it is actually, it's a very, very tricky thing. Most developers who work for a while know that if you get too intimate, too much in each other's area when you're working on something, these things, communication becomes extremely important, because this is a problem. Trust me, this is actually an issue. It sounds silly, but it is an issue. And that's what I mean by the race is on. Whoever gets there first, and we kind of sat there today and we laughed about it because my colleague won the race and I didn't, because my story was bigger than his. So, my story is always bigger than his. But yeah, so now when I'm done, which is going to be like tomorrow or the day after, I'm going to have to sit and figure out how to resolve all the conflicts and all that good stuff. But I'm going to make him suffer every step of the way. I'm going to make him sit next to me and ask him everything about everything. So he has to go through the pain with me. It's like having a child with your wife. You're pregnant together. That's the sensation I'm going for here. But the thing I'm virtually going for here is when it comes to merge conflict and working in each other's like in each other's area like that. It's a necessary evil. It's something you have to do because frankly sometimes the code is that adjacent and you kind of have to just have communication skills, and you can resolve it. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is a very healthy exercise for you, and it's a very good habit for the unions out there. When you start doing things such as merging and you start looking at Git and version control and stuff of that nature, a good rule of thumb is to keep your commits small and merge often, because what you don't want is to have your own branch get too out of sync with the master branch, because if that happens, these issues kind of start piling on top. And the worst possible situation you can possibly be in is if you have a really big story that you work on where other people are continuously adding stuff back to the master branch that are causing conflicts on your end, and then you have to resolve and fix those, and then you have to try and merge again, but you do realize that somebody really already committed some more stuff, so you need to do that. It's actually funny because Facebook has this issue to the point where they had to start thinking about a custom implementation of Mercurial, because frankly if they were going for this monolithic code base structure where everything is in one single repository, and you can imagine if you have 10,000 people or whatever committing code, even if you try to push your stuff, also that there are going to be like more than a few conflicts because there are people committing stuff all the time. And basically, I don't know. I don't really know. Like, there's really not much you can do about it. If you are, as I said, if there's 10,000 people, you cannot possibly. I don't know what to do. If and that's kind of, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to solve that one. But for us regular human beings, what I would say is that, well, just try to avoid that as much as possible. Keep your commits small, keep the story small, and just merge as quickly as possible, because odds are that you are going to be a much happier coder. I remember my colleague, it was a few months ago, he was working on this story where he spent, I think, a week just trying to get his story back into the branch, because everybody else is messing up the commit for him, or rather the merge is creating conflicts on conflicts on conflicts because people are still working and he needs to get stuff back into the branch. So it's not a fun place to be in. But if you're like me, you just try to just go for speed, because if you are the first one to merge and you win the race, you don't have to deal with that stuff. It's so great to be the king. Have a great day.